Hey guys, it's Zach Martin again here with S.O.B Motorsports. Today we're going to talk a little bit about this 5th Gen Zl1 Camaro we've done some work on. So when this car came to us, the customer was experiencing some issues, thought it could have been tune related, but they brought us a cylinder head for us to check out the cylinder head, make sure there was no issues with the cylinder head. After some discussions, we were able to convince the customer just to bring us the whole car, let us kind of finish the whole reassembly / build of the vehicle. So once we got the car in our possession, we pulled the other cylinder head. We sent the cylinder heads off once again to Bischoff Racing Engines out of St. Leon, Indiana. We had them go through and check the heads. Basically what we were looking for was any kind of cracking or warping of the heads, and then also wanted to check the condition of the valves. So they did a pressure test on the heads, they decked the heads. The heads were actually fine. The actual problem the customer was experiencing was 7 out of 8 intake valves were bent. So that was where the issue was coming from. So long and short, got the heads reworked. We did a full CNC pour and polish again. It's basically a program they've got that's got these heads flowing amazing. And then we also had all new intake valves replaced. Exhaust valves were okay, so we had those cleaned up. Valve job done, and then reassembled. While the car was down, we went through and took the rockers apart, and we did a Smith Brothers turning upgrade. So these have the bronze bushings inside instead of the roller bearings like the factory. We also added a Brian Tooley Racing Stage 4 cam. Along with the Stage 4 cam, we did the supporting components, new push rods, new oil pump, HD timing chain, 3-bolt cam conversion, all the good stuff that goes along with any kind of cam swap, new lifters, etc. A lot of work was already done on this system. It has a cold air intake that was already installed. The pulley swap was done, and the DSX booster pump system was done, which basically it's an inline fuel pump that helps bump up the power. It makes it good for 800 horsepower on E85. 1050cc ID injectors in it. Other than that, the extent of our work was pretty minor beyond that. Putting together somebody else's project can be a little tricky sometimes. So we ran into some issues, sorting out some of the wiring and stuff like that as we didn't take it apart. Other than that, the build was pretty fun, pretty straightforward, and one of our better packages we like to do. So in completion, the car made right at 605 on pump gas, and then on E85 with about 72 to 74% content, it made 676 and 629 foot-pounds of torque to the tire. So that's a pretty substantial gain running E85. The car is a flex fuel car, so it's able to adjust. No need to retune each time. Basically, whatever you put in the car, whether it's pump gas or E85, the computer's going to compensate and adjust the timing spark table based on the content of the ethanol in the system. So now we'll do a little startup clip and let you hear how the Stage 4 BTR cam sounds. So in completion, basically the limiting factor for making much more power on this thing right now, the supercharger's heat. So you've got an intake air temperature sensor on the pre-side and then on the post side of the blower. After a few pulls, the computer's going to start pulling timing based on the intake temperatures. So at this point, I would like to see this car, on 16 to 18 pounds of boost. Right now, the 676 was on a mere 12 pounds of boost. But if we can upgrade the heat exchanger and upgrade to a larger capacity cooling reservoir for the heat exchanger, this car all day long could be 800 horsepower car. Power is very, very linear, very smooth. This should be an absolute animal on the streets. Thanks guys, stay tuned. We'll see you for our next video.